You're a young person always on Instagram and other social media platforms. Well, I have an alternative for you. The Vibes.
Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Estelle, and this is The Vibes on BCC TV. This show promises to be entertaining, informative, and plenty of fun. From what's happening to young people to what young people like to do. We have it all here. Why? Because this is The Vibes, and we're vibing our way through. So here on The Vibes, we're going to be talking about youth restiveness and peer pressure. So what are those things? Youth restiveness is when children feel unable to stay still and also are unable to listen to instructions and are unable to feel controlled. And peer pressure is when you feel pressured by your peers, your friends are telling you to do things that you may not want to do, and the people around you are doing all of these things, therefore you feel pressured to do so because, the people around you are doing it as well. And we will be right back on The Vibes with a special guest talking about the causations and also the solutions to this problem. We'll be right back on The Vibes. It's your girl, Estelle, and we will see you soon.
Vibes.
Welcome back, you guys. Once again, it's your girl, Estelle, and we're back here on The Vibes talking about youth restiveness and peer pressure. Right now, I am here with a special guest.
My name is Tiffany. What up, y'all? You know me from the events. What's going on?
And we're going to be talking about youth restiveness and peer pressure.
That's what we
and the causations
about.
Of it. So I believe the causations of youth restiveness, I would say, is when a child's not feeling heard at home and is feeling like they need to go somewhere else to feel like truly themselves, but that may be an overload depending on where they actually are. For example, if you're at school and you're running around, you're screaming at people, and that's probably because they were feeling really silenced and contained, restrained back home. So now that they're outside, they feel like they can be themselves. But there's definitely a balance in the situation.
Right. I think that's very true. What you said could be spot on. There's also another causality. Perhaps they have too much freedom at home and they have been let loose and they don't know the social barriers. I don't want to say social barriers, but they have no code of conduct. Is what I'm saying, so they could be restrained at home. They can't breathe there. They feel restricted, but also maybe they have so much freedom that they don't know when to stop, so that can both be a reason for a child to not be controlled. So yeah, kids can be, there's a spectrum, if you will. Children can both feel oppressed at home, or maybe their children were not as they didn't have as much attention on them, so therefore they had far too much freedom and don't know how to conduct themselves in a controlled environment. So,
yeah, you're so right. How would you say it was growing up, and how did you have peer pressure around your life and youth restiveness? Were you one of those kids?
You know what? I was probably. My parents weren't very restrictive. I had a lot of freedom growing up as a child. I wasn't spoiled per se, but there was probably a definite lack of discipline in my home. My parents were very chill, relaxed parents. And I have an older sister who is the opposite. She is perfect in every sense that you can imagine a child to be. Straight A student, over exceller. She'd probably hate me saying this about her because she's very humble too. But me, on the other hand, I am what you would call a black sheep. So I know what it's like to not grow up in a restrictive environment. My parents were they did the best they could, as many parents do, and they provided all my needs. But discipline was not something I had to face inside my home. So I know what it's like. But it turned out not to be the greatest thing, of course, because although I wasn't in trouble with the law, I was in trouble at school a lot with teachers. I did not respect authority growing up, and I probably was not the nicest kid, to be honest. You know what I mean? My friends probably loved me. I was a lot of fun to be around, but not to adults. I was probably the kid that you did not want your kid to hang out with. I turned out okay, but a lot of hard lessons to learn along the way, and seeing a lot of my friends grow up in institutions and things like that because like-mindedness. A lot of my male friends, obviously, they ended up in jail. A lot of great times and a lot of fun times looking back. But looking back, I also had a lot of things that I wish I could have done differently.
Yeah. That's so interesting to hear, because as a person with parents who are more on the stricter side, I feel like going to school and like extracurriculars, hanging out with my friends, always gave me the opportunity to express myself more. And yeah, when I was younger, like I was definitely very like, I could not stay still. I always would go for a lot of walks in the halls. I always had to leave, and I was always pissed off when the teachers didn't pick on me for when I wanted to answer a question. I was always just like very expressive because I always felt like there was like things that I couldn't say at home. But so yeah, I always feel like you just need to find a good middle when it comes to like raising your kid, and make sure you just need to make sure to listen to your kid and to see how they're feeling.
Absolutely, it's very important for children to have a voice. So even when they're so young and you think they don't have much to say because they are so young and they don't know a lot, that's actually not very true. We can learn a lot from our kids, and we can learn how to be better parents towards our kids if we do give them a voice. I have a mother of 4 children. I have 2 smaller girls. My oldest was born when I was 19. I was not the best mom at that time. I was young. I was still a kid myself. And being the mindset that I was very free-spirited. I still wanted to party. But now I've grown a lot, and I have 2 young girls. The youngest is 4, and I'm much better at this now. I listen, I'm patient, I'm more calm, and I'm hoping to be that. I hope I'm the mom that gives them a voice. They can tell me anything. My teenage son, he can tell me anything. You know what I mean? No matter what it is, I'm not gonna turn him down, even if it's something I don't expect or don't like even. I'm still gonna hear him out. I'm never ever gonna shut him down, and he has freedom. Although I'm restrictive and he has to finish his assignments, let's say, before he goes out and parties with his friends, but at the same time I let him go to parties, you know what I mean, and I let him be a teenager too. And I think that that's helped him not turn out like me in a sense, because creating that balance between, a disciplined life and having freedom to go out and even make a mistake or two. You know what I mean? It's taught him not to go too far. I can't restrict the child so much that they don't know how far to go. You have to let them test the waters themselves, because it is their life too at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So whatever he chooses or whatever they want to do, that's fine. Let them go out and explore. There's a healthy dose of letting children have some kind of freedom. Let them test the water for themselves is what I found a lot in my parenting style, to help my kids see what is appropriate for them and what's not appropriate for them, but not too far, So I hope I'm that mom that gives them that voice, but while still maintaining realistic boundaries for them. Yeah, that was a lot.
But it was very insightful, and I agree, and I feel like that parenting style definitely is what prevents youth from getting into peer pressure, because I feel like since they have an authority or someone safe to talk to, they know not to do that thing. What you said was very insightful, and your parenting style, I feel like, is exactly the reason like some youths don't fall into peer pressure because they have someone to fall back on if they make a mistake, and they don't have to find guidance within people who are their age, and actually they can fall to people who know better. What do you feel like is other causations to peer pressure?
Friends. While I was probably one of the friends that was peer pressuring, so I know, you try to make it sound fun. That's the number one thing. You try to make it sound fun, especially you pick on your friends that are the goody two-shoes of the group, and you kind of just pick on them to do things, and it's not the wisest choice. We didn't always make the best choices, skinny dipping or, jumping over fences to steal flowers, silly little things like that, but your parents still wouldn't want them to do. Friends can make you do really terrible things to people, things that aren't that bad, but chances are there'll always be something you regret. Very rarely, it would probably be something you would like to do. Peer pressure to me is a form of pressuring people to do things they don't want to do that are wrong, not necessarily encouraging someone who is afraid to take a step in an opportunity. You know what I mean? That's not the same thing. Peer pressure is kind of almost, it's a sense of, it's like an underscore of bullying. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of trying to force someone to do something that they don't want to do. So, people don't really think about it that way, but essentially that's what it is. And if your friend is really your friend, you wouldn't really make them do something that they wouldn't want to do, even if it did seem fun at the end of the day. You don't want to get your friends into trouble,
You're so right. Wow. We'll be back after this. Once again, it's your girl, Estelle.
I'm Tiffany from the events.
Bye.
Welcome back, you guys. Once again, it's your girl, Estelle, and I'm here with
Tiffany Richards from the events show. Hey.
and we're here on The Vibes talking about youth restiveness and peer pressure. As a person who personally gets peer pressured a lot, especially back in high school and middle school, I would say that I've learned a lot from that. But back then, I just simply wanted to fit in, and I wanted to have friends, and I wanted to have fun the way other people were. But as you grow older, you just need to realize that you need to just take ownership of your own life and realize that you can find a lot of fun things within yourself, and you can also find other people who would love to do the same things that you would love to do. Therefore, you don't need to change yourself in any way to please people or to get people to like you. You just need to work on building yourself and finding out what you would love to do. And I just was wondering, you said that when you were younger, you were typically more on the influencer side, and you have outgrown that. How did you outgrow that?
It's a same old system. I did not reinvent the wheel when I say it's probably through a series of failures. Learning time and time and again that being cool and being fun isn't a way to have a lifestyle. And it's cute when you're a kid, but when you get older, it's time to get real, right? But the thing is if you're an adult and you haven't practiced being real, it's kind of a shock to you that now you have to be an adult. And that's kind of like what I went through. So I was kind of immature coming into adulthood. A lot of my friends that I didn't get to peer pressure, they're moving on in the trajectory that is common to young people or young adults, but I wasn't at first. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of find myself or re-raise myself to be an adult, which is a struggle on its own. And and as you get older and you go through that struggle, you lose connections. You can lose connections, with other people who have gone on. and you are kind of trying to find yourself as an adult and get new relationships, a new insight on life. So being the cool young kid who partied all the time did not pan out for me. So realizing that, oh my gosh, I really should have paid more attention in school. I really shouldn't have hung out with all those people, because where are they now? They're not there anymore. You know, wanting to be accepted, as you're saying, by a group was great then, but now not so much, because what they're into isn't what I should be into now. So it's through those realizations, like, oh my gosh, these choices were not the best, these choices were not the best, I realized that, hey, you know, I should be focusing on other things, and that's pretty much how it was. A rude awakening. We'll call it a rude awakening that finally woke me up. And I'm also a spiritual person, so by God's grace, He saved me, and I was able to move on in life and come to a point where I think that also helped me with my parenting. You know, that's why, because I was I got to see the other side. I know what it looks like to be, you know, a delinquent, so to speak, and I can see the benefits now of being more disciplined, behaving in a controlled way where you're not just catering to every whim that you might have, you know what I mean? Don't do everything in the world you want to do, but also don't quench your passions as well, you know what I mean? So that's why I think my parenting is great, and why I think I'm a much happier person now, because I can see the other side, you know. So yeah.
And for all the young people listening, I just want to say that all of the partying and all of the fun that you think you're having at this age, it can honestly wait. It can wait. Stay in school and listen to your teachers and get that education in first, because what I've learned now, being in the workforce now and like graduating, is that I really should have paid more attention in class and stuff like that, so I can build a more better sustainable life for me in the future, because like having fun is so much more fun when you're more successful.
Absolutely.
Trust and believe. So
100%. Traveling when you're young is fun, you know what I mean? But if you're more established, and you'll realize you have more freedom once you build that foundation. You know what I mean? Build that foundation first, and then go out and have a good time, you know? Stick with your priorities first. It'll pay off so much more later.
Yeah, because like I just finished my first year of university, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get a job because I want to, like, you know, I'm living in residence, I want to make friends, I want to go out, and now it's the summer and I'm back home, and I want to maintain that life, but oh wait. I didn't have a job during the school year.
Yeah, it's
so
not sustainable, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm just out here having a job now, so then next year is going to be the best time.
Right. Get your ducks in a row first. Whoever thinks it's good to chill out and get your feels first, I would urge you to try to get your ducks in a row first. Get a solid foundation and save the fun for later. You might think 30 or 40 is old, but I'll tell you it's not. People who are that age and have set a good foundation are having way more fun than I think 20-year-olds who think it's great to just party like a rock star until you're 30.
Okay, that is all the time we have here today. Once again, my name is Estelle, and I'm here with
Tiffany Richards from the events.
And make sure you tune in on the events so you know what is going on around you. Wake up, guys.
Wake up.
Wake up. And we're here on The Vibes. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Hey, take it easy.
You're a young person always on Instagram and other social media platforms. Well, I have an alternative for you. The Vibes.
What's up, you guys? My name is Estelle, and this is The Vibes on BCC TV. This show promises to be entertaining, informative, and plenty of fun. From what's happening to young people to what young people like to do. We have it all here. Why? Because this is the vibes, and we're vibing our way through.